Well, hello friends and welcome to the kitchen. You find me developing some film. Nothing particularly unusual in that. However, I always use Rodinol. I say always, not always, but Rodinol. And I use it as a stand development, 1 to 100. Or semi-stand, I suppose you call it, stand development. They call it stand development on here. 30 minutes, agitation, 30 minutes. So agitate at the start, 30 minutes, agitate again, and then leave for another 30 minutes. And I'm just coming up to 30 minutes, so I have to keep an eye on that. Now, of course, I made a bit of a boo-boo this time. Plain and simple. So it's going to be interesting to see how this turns out. I always mix from just tap water, and because it's winter, my tap water is somewhat colder than it should be. So I sort of just got my jug, poured the tap water out, poured my developer in, gave it a little stir, and then tipped it straight in there. Then, after about a minute, I checked the temperature of it and realised that, it was way low. I mean, it was probably down at about 11 or 12 degrees centigrade. It should be 20, ideally. So I thought, oh well, it'll probably be okay, stand development. But then I had a genius idea. Oh, hang on, I'll put the tank in the microwave, so I'll warm it up a little bit. That's a good idea. Now, if I take you over to our microwave, bear with. We have a new microwave and it doesn't have exact seconds on it. So normally when I've done this before, look at me talking to you in the reflection, when I've done this before, it's quite easy to get it pretty much bang on, but I overcooked it. So the temperature was reading half an hour ago. Excuse me, I've got a twist. 30 seconds. The temperature was reading 24 when I first put it in. So that's, hot, warm. Now again, I'm thinking it's Rodinol, it's probably fine. Or Rodinol. I don't know, I give up. Rodinol, I always say Rodinol. That's probably wrong. Now you've probably noticed, I've got a sloppy technique anyway. So these things, is what it is. There we go, right. Shouldn't need to tap any bubbles out of it, but I always do. So let's see where it is now. It was around about 24. It's still way above 20. It's still climbing. It seems to have stopped at about 23. So, yeah. So it's a few degrees out. So it was too cold. Now it's too hot. Let's see what we get. This is for my Frugal film project, and hang on, by the power of thingy, I will go and find you the camera. There it is, my lovely little Voigtlander, or Voigtlander. I met a German lady, she said it properly yesterday. Little Vito B, fantastic little camera. Don't use it enough, so I've used it for the Frugal film project this year. Look at the way that opens up there. It's just genius. So easy to load this film. And the catch, there you go, right, so your back opens and closes, and then this bit comes up, and then you've got this little catch there. You just twist, quarter turn, twist it, beautiful. Bulb through to 300th of a second. It does have a self timer, but that never wants to work properly. Great little camera. I absolutely love this thing. Should use it more, but you know. And I do, unlike a lot of people, it came with a case, and I keep it in the case. Stop it getting bumped and knocked when I'm travelling about on the motorbike or whatever. So there we go. We're at 34 minutes now, so I will bring you back when there's something else to show you and we'll see what we got. Right, I don't know if I mentioned it, but for the Frugal film project I am shooting Kentmere Pan 400 for the year, so there'll be 12 rolls of that, all being well going through the Voigtlander Vito B. So fingers crossed the camera keeps working, and fingers crossed this development is good, because we're at the hour. So I'm pouring that out. There it goes. Excuse me doing that off camera. And then we'll whack in some of this stock bath, which I did. The stock bath is just water that I'm using. I did make sure that that was at the correct temperature, and the fixes as well. I tested the fix because the fix is actually, whilst it hasn't done that many rolls, it's actually a little bit old. So what I did, little trick if you don't know this, when you cut the little bit of leader off to get it onto the reel, if you keep hold of that and just drop it into a little bit of fix, you can then, here I am, you can then keep an eye on the time it takes, because what it'll do, it'll go clear, and then if you double the time that it takes for it to go clear, then that will be correctly fixed. So in the case of my fixer, it cleared in 3 minutes, almost exactly 3 minutes, and so 6 minutes, and I know it'll be correctly fixed. So that's two runs of that, so that should have stopped any development, and we'll pop in the fix. I tend to give it a little bit of agitation at the start, just reset the old school timer. Do you remember those, people? Look at that, got that in a bunch of dark cream stuff from a local seller on Facebook Marketplace, I think that was. Got an enlarger as well with it. I've got a whole developing kit, a whole printing kit. So I use that as a darkroom timer as well, or at least I will do once I've built the darkroom, because we're in a new house and new to us. It's sort of about 150 years old, standard sort of little Victorian place. But the darkroom is going to be built in what was the old wash house out the back. So it's a little brick built shed with a tile roof. It has power currently, and it has there's plumbing to the shed next door, which is sort of joined onto it, so I need to extend that and take it through into this other shed. Then I can plumb a sink in there. But I've also got to repair the roof, I've got to insulate it, I've got to raise the floor up a tiny bit, so there's rather a lot of stuff before I can even begin to think about getting a darkroom in there. And that is, winter's not the best time to do the work, obviously. and that is yeah, it's really frustrating me because I really want to get making some prints again. I'm pretty terrible at well, I'm pretty terrible at photography in general. I have the occasional success, and I'm pretty terrible in the darkroom, but I am getting there. Getting there. I watch a lot of John Finch's channel, Pictorial Planet. I mean, if you're watching this and you haven't seen his channel and you're into darkroom work, yeah, he's fantastic. I mean, he's very, very measured, and he does this wonderful thing. His videos are so calm because quite a lot of his videos are just his hands. You just see the hands doing, and he's talking, and he's going, so now I'm gonna just agitate this gently, and it's like, it's so relaxing to watch him. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. He lives up in Scotland. I don't think he's originally Scottish. He certainly doesn't sound it. But yeah, Pictorial Planet. There's a fantastic channel. If I can, I'll put a link to his channel in the description, as Gavin Hardcastle would say. Right, 3 minutes halfway there. I'm waffling for the sake of waffling, so I'm going to disappear again, and then you will see me instantaneously when I pull this reel out and we find out what's on it. Right then, we're back in the office, and I've got the negatives just hanging up, and we have negatives. Okay, so there's a few things that I've learnt from this roll of film. Let's start off. Here we are. We're actually end of January. This is supposed to be the February roll of film for the Frugal film project, but I got a little bit overzealous. This is collapsing ash trees due to ash dieback out on a walk with some dogs. Yeah, I mean, actually, I'm quite pleased with exposure on that one, and the development process for this one doesn't seem to be too bad, doesn't seem to have affected it too badly. This one, I've got this weird, like almost like a surge mark on it. It didn't load very well. The film didn't load terribly well on to the reel, so it could be related to that. I might have compressed it a bit, just damaged the emulsion a bit because it was very, very tight, and it might have crimped up a little bit. I've also got loads of dust spots. I mean, look at those dust, like bits of fluff hanging up in here was far from ideal. Out on this dog walk again, overcooked this one. I've learnt my Sunny 16 guesstimates are not terribly accurate at this time of year, but hopefully I'll get there. There's a couple of tiny little dogs up there. Can we zoom in on this? Yes, we can. Look at that. A couple of dogs disappearing off into the distance down this tunnel of trees. Not too bad. I quite like that image, actually. This one, a dog coming back to check if I am actually coming. Obviously, it was quite dark or quite dim under the tree canopy and in the cloud cover that we seem to have a lot of the time at the moment this time of year. So a very slow shutter speed. This one, try and ignore the terrible marks. Digitally, very easy to take those out. I imagine that's probably in the emulsion. So in a dark room, you never. I mean, I wouldn't print this anyway, but I'm treating the Frugal film project as an excuse just to play about. Down in the distance here is the River Tame. This is a no access sign for this farmland saying keep out. I just pulled up on this little road. I was actually travelling on this little road, and it sort of wiggles through. The road doesn't look accessible at the bottom, but it is. The water is actually flood water. It's all floodplain down there. View of a church, fairly dull, and the church is leaning over, a bit wonky. This one, very, very abstract. This is a train, an evening commuter train. It was getting dark and a very slow shutter speed intentionally, and I'm following the train. So these are trees blurred out. This is the railway embankment. This is the field I'm standing in. I actually quite like that. It's a bit weird, but I quite like it. So I might actually try and do something with that. Actually scan it properly and higher resolution, and because this was a pretty quick scan just to get JPEGs really. That's the same place. It didn't work, and we have these sort of surge marks, crinkle marks, whatever they are. This one very wonky, and a very slow shutter speed. Same place, same time of day. This is a sewage outflow, believe it or not, into a local stream. I didn't have a tripod with me. I had the camera propped on a tree branch, and I just held it as still as I could. So pointless, but experimental. This one's really weird. It's got this dead straight line all the way through it. Now, it's nothing to do with the door or a double exposure or anything like that. I don't know what that is. If anyone knows what that might be, let me know. This one, this was F22, somewhere over an hour. This is the corner of my television. I don't know quite what happened in scanning this because it's a standard. It's not a portrait. It's a landscape orientation, and the TV was on. The idea of this is that I was going to get the room illuminated by the TV over the course of an hour or so. It didn't really work out, but that was what I was trying to achieve. Out for a walk. This is a weir that we came across. Not the River Tame this time. This is actually the River Ouse, or the River Great Ouse, I should say. In the shed, at work, experimental. 2 glass plates leant against the door. My reflection in both. Handheld, difficult conditions. Yeah, I mean, I got a picture, but it's terrible. Ivy on a tree trunk. Not too bad. Little bit over bright, probably, but actually not too bad. This one I really like. I mean, I could probably lose the snowdrops in the foreground, but they give a bit of. This was the camera rested on a brick in the grass, just to get a nice low angle with a beech hedge behind and local snowdrops. Scary one of me, proving that the short focus distance of this camera is not quite arm's length. I don't know. I mean, it's probably fairly well exposed picture of the edge of this water, but pointless. Scary one of me again. And this one, the scanner went a bit mad, but I quite like it. It shows like it was doing multi crop, so it automatically crops the images. I was just doing this quick and easy. This picture I'm quite pleased with. I saw this chap in the betting shop, and I wanted to capture him using the fruit machine, and there we go. So I mean, I could crop that in and obviously massively boost the contrast on it, but the fact it actually came out is quite good. And then this was supposed to be a motion shot, this one of this guy on this bike. Yeah, there's a pillar here, and if I flip onto the next one, that's the pillar. However, I think that pillar is upside down. I think when I was like checking the rotation of all of these pictures, I got that the wrong way around. So there we go. That is that. Thanks very much for watching and for trawling through my terrible winter photography. Must improve my Sunny 16 technique and actually try and take some photos of things that are reasonable. I don't know. I've never done the Frugal film project before, but yeah, I think I've got a bit carried away. Maybe I probably should have chosen like an SLR, to be fair, I could have been much more experimental with that and probably had a better time. But I'm sure it will improve as we go through the year. So thanks very much for watching this video. Right then, thanks everybody for watching. That's it for now. If you have enjoyed this, if you haven't enjoyed this, regardless, give me a thumbs up, give me a thumbs down, give me a nice comment, give me a could do better comment. Let's not say nasty. And if you feel like subscribing, that would be wonderful. So just lightly tap that subscribe button. There is absolutely no requirement to smash it. Right, thanks ever so much, and I will see you again soon.